So it is an absolute moral responsibility in this moment for the Green Party to step up with the bold politics that I know that we have, to say to people that we can and we will lower your bills. We will nationalise the water companies. We will hold this Labour government to account. My message to Labour is very clear. We are not here to be disappointed by you. We are not here to be concerned by you. We're here to replace you.
There was once a time that I considered the Labour Party to be the party of the working man. This is code for people who work an actual job to make a living and those who are dependent on the state or welfare system due to factors outside their control, such as an illness or a disability. But over the years, I have now become convinced that this is not true anymore. You see, I have made no secret of the fact that I want the Labour Party destroyed, and preferably the ground sorted, cast in concrete, and blessed so it can never come back as a zombie. But understand that I have these firm beliefs because the party was one I once adored. And since I came to settle in the UK in 2007 under then Gordon Brown's premiership, my love for the Labour Party was a deeply held belief. As an immigrant, I had no work experience when I got here, but I was still able to attend college without much financial worries. This was mostly due to the education maintenance allowance of £30 a week. This ensured that I could eat out with my friends and save a little for the books that I would need. If you are a college student in England right now, I suppose you wouldn't know anything about this since it had been abolished since 2011. I don't tell you this to paint a picture of struggle since both my parents worked very hard to provide for me and my siblings. And if I consider my station in life right now, we have not done too bad for ourselves. My parents also had help from the government to help with our upkeep. So even as I was living in London, I was able to grow up in a very stable environment which has allowed me to thrive. This was the UK I knew and deeply came to love, a place where things were possible even for a then outsider. However, since 2010, I have had to watch this country transform beyond my wildest dreams, ever since the Tory government of then Prime Minister David Cameron. Critical systems that were in place to ensure that people like me and possibly you could also get ahead have all been razed to the ground and also privatized to who knows whom. Things such as the cost of a university degree went through the roof, firmly grasped in the hands of the financial markets. Repayments of such loans, which began at a reasonable earning and interest rates, now feels like a mortgage in itself for new and old students who were touched by these increases. Health services that were effective at giving treatment when needed are now being slowly dissected in the hands of private firms, whose approach to treatment is painkillers first, go home and wait, and later a prognosis when you get worse. And treatment is not even guaranteed, as most times you are stuck in the hell called the waiting list.
Chancellor Rachel Reeves has claimed that the NHS waiting list has come down by 230,000 since the current Labour government began. Yes, it is technically true, but the full picture matters. She's specifically talking about the elective treatment waiting lists in England, also known as the referral to treatment. Now, this is the number of patients waiting for planned, non-emergency medical procedures or appointments. Now, in context, the drop is actually quite small, from around 7.62 million in July 2024 to 7.39 million in September of 2025. And here's another important point. Waiting lists and waiting times are two separate issues. Waiting times can often matter more.
And in media who insist on promoting nonsensical statistics about how we have it ever so good, yet a quick glance will show you that increasing food banks and rough sleepers, as well as people begging for your change in traffic and at a supermarket entrance, is quickly becoming the norm. This issue is becoming worse. Yet I have never seen so many luxury high-rises being built in my lifetime. And all the while, so many affordable homes and council estates are left to rot. You see, due to the nature of my job, I have had the privilege of living in many different places in this beautiful country. Edmonton Green, Colchester, Woolwich, Ramsgate, Manchester, Wakefield, Doncaster, and now Harlow. But nowadays, this scenario plays out everywhere, and I am still shocked by how much people lack even in gentrified neighborhoods.
People tend to think of gentrification as a London problem, but here, in the suburb of Leeds, people who have lived on this estate for decades are being evicted from their homes by a private investment fund that wants to demolish their houses and redevelop the area.
For the residents here,
These aren't just houses, they're homes.
Makes me so angry that we've been done. We've lived here for 30 years and we've paid rent for 30 years. They're going to have to throw us out.
But before you dismiss me as a Marxist, understand that I don't read Marx. And if I am being honest considering my circumstances, it would be better for me to vote for the Tories or the Reform Party. But I don't want to do that. But if a person like me, that most people would consider to be comfortable, can tell you how bent this nation has become, then just imagine what those who are less unfortunate than me are currently experiencing in modern day UK. What I am simply saying here is this, that this nation is fundamentally and structurally broken, and it's about damn time that we do something about it before we reach the point of no return. And if I look at the current state of UK total managerial politics, the only party that seems to be worth a damn at organizing for people is the Green Party. And to be honest with you, this is not a position I would have considered as far back as 2016. But as things stand, it's the only option on the table for a truly organized mass movement. So consider this video me making the pragmatic case for why you should join the Green Revolution. Because red stopped meaning anything important, and I am all out of cynicism and apathy. So let's begin.
Just keep going.
In our UK political scene, there is a tectonic shift happening in real time. This is being led by Nigel Farage and Zach Polanski. I've already made a video on Farage and why I want reform to succeed. Now, I will make the case for why I am voting Green and I also want them to succeed. Before Polanski, I always considered the Green Party as the definition of a one-note protest party. Their politics were mostly based on environmental issues such as oil drilling, climate change, and their disdain for nuclear energy, even though it's the most reliable source of energy generation in our world, has always made them in my eyes a bit of a joke. This was a trend that most of their former leadership has always championed. And these kinds of policies are quite hit with the youth, but as a pragmatist, such ideological things never held much appeal for me. But with the dawn of the Polanski leadership, vision, and tactics, this is not the case anymore. The Green Party now stands as the only party putting humans at the core of their politics, and seems willing to address the vast and ever-widening inequality in modern-day Britain. And after their resounding results post-local elections, it's obvious that our ever so elegantly useless political class on either side of the bench are terrified, even if they pretend to be unimpressed.
The Greens think that their leader walks on water. It turns out that he just lives on water and doesn't pay his council tax.
Well, fortunately for us Green voters, the last quip of a certain dark automaton don't face us much. But I digress. Now, I want you to understand that there is no established system that goes down or take a fatal wound without a fight. And you have seen this with how the media attacks on Polanski has steadily been getting nastier. So allow me to be extra clear. If news broke tomorrow that Zach Polanski has been caught in some moral outrage scandal, I will still vote Green. This is because in the echo chambers of Westminster so used to business as usual, the only way that we the workers and the actual builders of society would ever get a legitimate voice is by voting for the Green MPs. It's my hope that the Green Party becomes the biggest membership-owned political party in Westminster, till such a time that it can no longer be ignored. And regardless of the media blitz on inflation, migration, and EU leave or remain discourse, this is not a position I will be turning from. Since 2010, for obvious reasons, I have not cast a ballot since. My perception of nothing ever changing under the current Labour/Tory hegemony has also proved to be on the money. But I like the changes happening now, and I say that we crack on with our disdain for the sameness, and it's about time we give other people a shot at the job. I'm not the sort of person to look on as my house burns down around me for the sake of a locked door, not when something heavy can be used to break it down. The Green Party and Reform are both political battering rams that has to be used to instigate the changes that people have been seeking for decades. And make no mistake that Westminster will put up all sorts of doors and fear tactics through their also reliable media henchmen in the coming years to try and dissuade you. But stay the course and endure it. And if you want a simple reason why, I will tell you. Why would you again settle for crumbs when you can have a proper slice of the cake? Sure, the boogeyman of the bond markets, inflation, all-out chaos,
human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria,
will most definitely be used against you and me both. But I am down for a fight and I don't give a shit. This moment is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, one we would definitely be locked out of and sedated with platitudes if we miss. And to anyone that comes at me with their high horse and moral arguments, I want you to understand that your high horse has cancer. And this is not a morality argument, just a pragmatic option. It was not moral arguments that brought down Thatcher's government, but rather the poll tax riots and a spooked political class. This is that kind of moment. And if you have been on the internet, I am certain that you have been hearing why a Green Party, consisting of only left-leaning voters, is a dangerous thing.
The Green Party wants to weaken counter-terrorism laws. That's according to a leaked briefing paper obtained by The Telegraph.
Well, it's understandable. But I also want you to understand that this is organized capital getting nervous. And this is exactly the feeling I want pervading through the uncaring, perpetual growth-addicted machine being fueled at the expense of human misery. For in my lifetime, I have never seen a tree that grows indefinitely, nor a human being that lives forever. All systems must grow, spread their seed, crash out, and allow for the birth of something better. This is the true natural cycle, and it's damn time that we topple the artificially upheld broken system, which requires the middle and working class to be churned through it, all in the name of sustainability. If you are left-leaning, go green. If you are unsure, consider green. And if you are one of those fed up as I have been for a while, then definitely go green. And to right-leaning voters, go reform. For it's only when we have a truly left party and a truly right party and allow them to clash politically will we get contrast of ideas and a refinement of other ideas, which leads to actual tangible changes.
Let them fight.
Polarity is the name of the game, so I urge you to let's create it. We have long watched the sea of dullards throw spit at each other in their tedious attempts to stimulate actual riveting debates at PMQs. It's about time that we allow true discourse on the state of our nation and our lives to shine through. So as a final note on Polanski and the Green Party, I say shine on you greatest showman. For right now, Corbyn seems to be sleeping at the Your Party headquarters. But I don't blame him too much, for he is old and have done this for a while. And he deserves some rest after so many years in the good fight. And as long as you, Mr. Polanski, don't back down, well, neither will I. Till next time, friends.